Welcome back to the vlog. We're working late this night, trying to get this thing out so you guys can see it first thing in the morning. It's a pretty good one. It covers 2 sessions and got some really crazy spots. So sit back, relax, enjoy. I think you're gonna like this one. It's been an hour and a half. I haven't had much to play. This is a $10 bomb pot. We've got 9-way action. Look down at a Queen of Clubs and an Ace of Hearts. Definitely a good starting hand for a bomb pot. But we need a good flop to go with it. Otherwise, it's completely useless. Flop comes out Jack 10-4 Rainbow. So we got a gutter to the nut straight, and we have 2 overcards. But in a bomb pot, there's a lot of possibilities, and there's someone who could be in there with Jack 4 or 10-4. We checked it over to the player in the low jack who puts out a bet for $20. Very inexpensive bet to call, especially when you draw into the nuts. I put in the call, and so do 2 other players, including the player in middle position. We got 170 in the pot, and we get to see a turn card of a 9 of spades. It does make us an open-ended draw, but it also completes a lot of other possible draws. And with 3 players behind me, I'm just going to check it and hope that it gets checked around or have to call a small bet. It does get checked around, and we see a river card of a King of Clubs. What a beautiful card. I decided to check because I'm pretty sure one of the other 3 players will probably have a queen, and if they don't, then I'm not going to get too much action from them anyway. Next player checks, and then the middle position player bets 35. Rather very small bet for such a big pot. And here with the nuts, I'm going to be raising. I just have to decide on how much. And I decided to go with an overbet because a lot of people will not be able to fold a queen if they have one. And if they don't have one, they're not going to call a regular size raise. So let's go for a big one. I go ahead and jam all in. Player has about $300 behind, and he goes into the tank. And he's talking about how he watches my vlog and how I'm not messing around when I'm doing this. And he turns King, Queen of Hearts face up on the table. And he goes, well, I know what I should do, but I also know who I'm playing against. I'm going to fold. And he mucks the King, Queen. So great laydown by my opponent. Saved himself $300.
I really like the overbet there. Not many people can lay down a queen if they have one. Might as well go for it. You just happen to find the one player at the table that would. But I like the overbet.
We're in the big blind with 6-5 suited. We decided to defend our big blind when there was a raise. There's 3 other players in this pot, so we're going to go 4 ways to a flop with 68 in. Flop comes out Jack, Deuce, Queen with 1 diamond. So we basically flopped nothing with no hopes of winning anything and checked it. We would definitely fold to any kind of bet, but nobody seems to have too much and they all check it around. Turn card comes as a 6. Interesting card. I don't think anyone has a queen, and I'm pretty sure they're not too happy about having a jack in this spot. I could definitely be checking a queen, and a 6 shouldn't hit anyone because I have one. So what the heck, let's go for it. Let's put out a pot-sized bet and see what they do. So I bet $75 into a pot of 68. First player takes a little peek and lets it go. Next one, lets it go. Hey, we got one through. Pair of 6s. A very aggressive player opens for a raise to 15. Got a couple callers. I look down at 2 kings and make it 70. It's folded back around to him and he puts in the call for the 70. Really thinking that he has something pretty decent here because he knows that I've been basically not playing a lot of hands so far. Everyone else folds out, and we're going to go see a flop heads up with $180 in the pot. Looking for a good flop, and it comes Ace 8 Deuce. Ace magnets, that's what kings are, ace magnets. But I'll let you in on a little secret. I haven't even looked at the flop yet. I was watching my opponent and watching his reaction to the flop. And you know what? He didn't like that flop. And I peeked at it, and I didn't like it either. So I'm thinking that he has a pocket pair, maybe jacks, 10s. So I'm going to trust my read on this one, that he didn't like that flop. And I'm going to play it like kings are the best hand and try to go for max value. My opponent checks it over, and I c-bet for $70. It's about what I'll do with most of my hands, about 1/3 pot. He puts in the quick call, and we see a 5 of clubs on the turn. Again, I think I have the best hand, and my opponent checks. If I bet big, I think he's just going to fold. But if I happen to put out a small bet, he might think he has enough fold equity and consider my bet extremely weak and come over the top. So I decided to go with a small size bet for $75. If he has a pocket pair, I'm going to charge him for his draw, and maybe he'll just spaz out and go for a shove. Well, my bet size definitely caught him off guard. He gives me a strange look, and then he just kind of looks down at his chips, grabs a couple stacks, and say, well, let's just play for it all. And he shoves them all in. And now for the fun part, calling off all your chips with an ace on board when you have pocket kings. Now I'm just hoping that my read was correct. River card comes as a queen of spades, and he says I got one pair and rolls over pocket jacks. So I turn my kings up and win a nice pot. And I'm really glad that I was staring at him instead of the board when it came out, because that gave me all the information that I really needed to know. I'm in a low jack with ace-9 suited. I open for a raise to 15. Get a call from the cutoff and button in the blind. So we're going to go 4 ways to a flop with 63 in the pot. Flop comes out Jack 10-6 with 2 hearts. So we flopped a nut flush draw with some possible backdoor straight draws. It's checked to me. I decided to check it because I think sometimes if you check a big flush draw and you get there, no one really expects you to have it, and you can really get paid off. The player in the cutoff bets $10, one of the blinds call, and I call. Turn card comes as a 9 of clubs, so now we got a pair and our flush draw. Maybe some, chance to represent something also. Check it over to the player in the cutoff who bets 45. Player folds out, and it's now to us. Yeah, I think we're getting the right price to call, and maybe I can do something sneaky if I miss. Well, the river card comes as a queen of diamonds. Definitely a perfect card to represent. I can easily have a king in this spot, so I lead out for $100. He thinks for a while, and he says, you are so lucky, and he ends up mucking his hand. So not quite sure what he had, but I'm pretty sure he could beat a pair of 9s. So I played for almost 4 hours, and then I decided to head on home, come back the next day, and this was the first hand we get involved in. We get 2 queens from the +1, open for a raise to 15, and everybody and their brother called. We end up getting like 7 callers. Well, 6 callers, and then the 7th player decides to put in a raise. Yeah, a raise, but not a very big one. This particular player really likes to make pot building raises. So he decided to make it 45, which is music to my ears because I do not want to see a flop with 7 opponents. So this is my chance to go ahead and repop it. I'm trying to think of a good number. I figure about 170 to 180 would be the right amount. It should be like my call of the 45 would make it up to 180. So I decided to go 175. I probably can go larger, in fact, but I really don't think anyone is too strong. I later found out that one of the players was holding ace king and decided to lay it down for my raise sizing. They didn't want to gamble. I'm okay if everybody folds, and that's exactly what happened. The last player kind of Hollywood for a long while before finally folding. But yeah, I'll take all that dead money. $15 a person? Yeah. So the game has been playing kind of a lot of limping, but people have been overvaluing their hands quite a bit. So I'm okay limping with some suited connectors. And here I got a suited 2 gapper. I'm on the button. I put in the limp. Normally I would probably put in a raise if I was playing aggressively, but I'm just been laying back. Flop comes out really, really good. It comes 3, 10, 9 with 2 spades. So I flop an open ender and a flush draw and an overcard. So yeah, I got more equity than pocket aces right here. Anyway, it gets checked to the player from the previous hand who raised to 45, and he ends up betting out for 45. I'm sure he has a good hand here, at least a 10. And I put in the call, even though it's such a small pot. I'm looking at his stack and thinking that if I hit my right card, I can really get all my chips in. He checks when a 10 comes. I really thought he had a 10, so I'm definitely not going to be trying to represent it. River card comes as a queen. We make her straight. He checks again. I'm going, okay, unless he was slow playing a full house, I think I got it here. So I put out a kind of a chunky size bet, a little over pot. And he starts talking, oh, I know you made your straight. You must have made your straight. I can't believe you made it. I got a 10. I think I'm going to have to call you. And he actually turns the 10 face up and goes, okay, I'll call you. And so I show him the straight, and we take down another one. About an hour and 45 minutes into our session, we're up about $150. I got king, queen, diamonds. There is a $6 straddle. I make it 20. Get a few callers. So we're going to end up going to this flop with 3 players. 64 in. Hoping to flop something yummy. Flop comes out queen high, but with 2 hearts. So pretty good flop for our hand. No one really should be in there with 8-3 or queen 8 or queen 3. So we should be in the lead. First player leads out right into us. So yeah, $40. Decent sized bet. Could be a queen. Could be a flush draw. Next player folds out. So here the decision is whether to call or raise. He has about 200 in the stack. I decided just to call. If a safe card comes out on the turn and he leads into me, then I can go ahead and put them all in. We get a 6 of diamonds on the turn. Got to be a perfect card. If he has a queen, he's probably going to be leading again, and that's exactly what he does. This time for 100. He has about another 100 behind, so I just put it all in. If he has a flush draw, I definitely want to charge him. If he has a hand like queen jack or queen 10, I definitely want to make him pay for playing a weak hand like that. Anyway, he makes the call. I turn my hand face up right away. He kind of slaps the table and says, yeah, that hand's good. River card comes as the ace of diamonds, a scare card. He might not have paid me off if I, waited to raise to the river. All right, I'm in the big blind with pocket 3s. There is a raise and a couple people call, so I decided to go ahead and defend with my pocket 3s. We're going 4 ways to a flop with $83 in the pot. Flop comes out, oh, really, really good. It comes 8-7 deuce with 2 diamonds. I do have pocket 3s with the 3 of diamonds, so I have a pair and a backdoor flush draw. Not much else. I check it. It gets checked around to the initial aggressor, who bets out for $35. The other 2 players fold out, and I kind of pick up on something I can't really talk about, but I don't think he's very strong. So I put in the call for the $35, and we see a turn card of a 9 of hearts. This card definitely hits my calling range a lot harder than it hits his raising range. I check it over to him, and he doesn't think too long before betting out for $100. Now, as I said, my read on him is that he isn't very strong, so I jam all in. He has about 300 and change behind. I don't think he can call with anything, really, that he is raising from in that spot, because I got a lot of straights, a lot of sets, a lot of 2-pair hands in my range. And I think the best hand he has right here is like ace 10 or maybe a pair of jacks. Anyway, he folds. We win with a pair of 3s and call it a day. Didn't pick up a whole lot of playable hands over these 2 days, so I kind of combined the 2 vlogs into one just so you can see the most interesting ones without getting bored out of your mind. Anyway, we ended up winning $510 over the course of the week. Not great, but it's better than losing. Really do appreciate your support, and thanks for making it to the end of the video. And if you haven't liked and subscribed, please do so. It does help out the channel. And until next time, good luck at the tables. We'll see you soon.